Whereas the Patriots vibes are through the roof, the Boston Celtics vibes are through the floor here in Boston. We knew this was going to be a weird season and that it was going to be a blip without Jayson Tatum on the roster for hopefully the whole year. I don't need you putting him in games in March just so they could maybe get into the play-in. I don't need that. I don't think any of us need that. I don't think any of us want that. But at 0-3 right now, the Celtics look bad. The question just becomes, do they just suck? Like, are they just not going to be good at all this year? You know, we talked about it through the offseason. Like, are they just going to be plucky, win 45 games? Jaylen Brown, all-NBA player. Derek White, man, one of the most underrated players in the league still, I guess. And Pritchard can put something together, and Anthony Simons can give you 16 to 18 off the bench, and all these things to justify that they might be a middle-of-the-road playoff team, if that's not an oxymoron to you. And 3 games in, albeit 2 against playoff teams on the road, they're 0-3. And the one thing that is really been the biggest problem, if not the only problem for the Celtics, has been rebounding. The reason why they are 0-3 is because they can't grab a rebound, like to a ridiculous extent. They've been one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. 37% of opponent misses turn into offensive rebounds. That is nuts. For every 10 misses, 4 of them are going to end up back in their hands. That's giving points away. And you saw it in the game yesterday in Detroit. Pistons had 30 second chance points on 18 offensive rebounds. 30 extra points after playing defense. They've been out-rebounded by 31 in 3 games this season. Minus 31. They were plus 79 last season. Very early in the year, but a 110 rebound swing. And 2 questions come up as I've watched this team through 3 games when it comes to the rebounding problem. The first, do they even have the personnel? Like, do they even have the dudes? They have the horses in the stable to be a good rebounding team in the NBA? They only got 2 guys who are 6'9" or taller that are actually in the rotation. Luka Garza and Neemias Queta. And what did we say before the season? You've got some good pieces here, but look at who your centers are. Luka Garza and Neemias Queta. And Spencer Tillman at 6'8", who didn't play yesterday. They're down 4 of their top 5 rebounders from last year. And I think what gets lost in this whole fold is just how damn good Jayson Tatum is in that department. He was their leading rebounder by 2 full boards a game last year over Kristaps Porzingis, who's also not on the team. And a guy who would, if nothing else, be able to give you 15, 18, 20 minutes a night and give you a bunch of boards. Luke Cornett, also not on the team. It makes everything else look worse when they can't grab a rebound. Like the defense, for example, which played fairly well in the game yesterday. Fairly well, but they give up 30 second chance points. That's why you're 20th in defensive rating. Right there. It makes everything else look worse. And again, to bring Tatum back into this fold, you see most people around the NBA see the points that the Celtics miss out on because they don't have Tatum, but it's really the rebounds, it's the playmaking, it's the shot creating, and it's the defense. Consistently, Tatum can guard 1 through 5, and he's pretty damn good at all of them. He's one of the most underrated defenders in the league, one of the most versatile defenders in the league, and you don't have him out there. So I don't know if you have the personnel. I don't know if you're going to have the personnel this year to make it much better. I mean, it can't get much worse, but to make it much better. But on top of the personnel, does it really look like they're competing out there? Does it really look like they have the mentality and the toughness and the physicality to be a top-tier rebounding team in the NBA or even be close to it with the personnel that they have? Like, nobody's boxing out. I'm sitting there yesterday and I'm like, can somebody box out, please? Am I looking at fourth grade town league basketball? Like, can someone box out? Can someone get in somebody's chest and grab a damn rebound here? Because we talk about the personnel, but how much of rebounding and defense in general is about having some balls, having some toughness, playing physical, boxing out. That's more important than the personnel most of the time. But they don't have a personnel that does that. And here's where we really get to find out more about Joe Mazzulla and how much he can adapt. I like Joe Mazzulla. I like him a lot. I thought he got out-coached by Tom Thibodeau in the last playoff series that they lost. And that's the second time in his 3 full seasons that he's gotten out-coached and lost a playoff series because of it. But I like Joe Mazzulla. I'm not ready to slander Joe Mazzulla yet. He had something that worked absolutely perfect for the personnel that he had when he walked into the job. But you don't have that personnel right now, and you're not going to have it this whole year. Jayson Tatum is not walking through that door. Joe Mazzulla needs to adapt. They're not a great three-point shooting team right now. Not great at all. They've had some disastrous quarters, which is a theme of the last couple of years. They've just been able to mask it by how good they were in the other 3 quarters. They're 23rd in offensive rating. This is a team that through Mazzulla's first 3 years, he was top 3 in offensive rating every year and top 5 in net rating in each of the last 2 years. Like, we knew it was going to be different. We knew it wasn't going to be championship expectation for this team. We knew they probably weren't going to be top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating or anything like that. But we would like to see him adapt. We would like to see him be top half of the league in something good. Can Joe Mazzulla be a Eric Spoelstra, Rick Carlisle type of coach who can adjust and adapt to their personnel and continue to put out good teams, no matter who is hurt, no matter who is available to them, to at least be competitive and be a playoff level team? Or is he Mazzulla ball with guys like Jayson Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and Jaylen Brown, and nothing else? I think that becomes the big question here. But in terms of the personnel, it's not going to get any better this year. You're starting Hugo Gonzalez in games. I like what he could be in the future, right? Hugo Gonzalez, but this is a guy who was averaging 5 points a game in Spain last year. And he's starting for the Boston Celtics right now. This roster's not getting better this season. But can they adapt? Can they make this a learning experience, what this year is going to be this year? And are they going to be the plucky team that a lot of us thought we were going to be before the season? Or should we start paying attention more to the Duke box scores? It's just a scrimmage, but it was a road game in Knoxville, and Cameron Boozer had 24 points and 23 rebounds. Is that what we need to start taking more notes about? Is that what we need to start seeing every night? Do I need to start tuning back into my former team, the Duke Blue Devils, and see what Cam Boozer's doing night in, night out? Future Boston Celtic. It's not the worst thing in the world. If you're going to be bad, you might as well be really bad. Or in this case, wicked bad. Let me know what you think is the Celtics problem and if it's going to get solved down in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's coming at you live on YouTube every weekday, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. And we're talking nothing but Boston without the BS of sports talk radio in this town. It's not just Boston, it's Wicked Boston. We will see you on the next edition of the Wicked Boston Show.